Today is September 10th, 2026. Bad day, bad day. I work nights. I have all this craziness, and people make my head hurt. I told you that you want to just walk around with like a fly swatter and smack them. Stop being stupid. But they're just con men. People were talking about that heavyset Michelle Lauren disappearing. And they don't know if they sold her or killed her. Okay, we're going to go to these, not even right now dealing with today. We're going to go to the case. The FBI case. Okay? The FBI case. In the beginning of the case, Officer Mark and John, the Starr County Sheriffs, they would have recorded these people. They had all these weird things they were saying, but if you find out what they're doing, it was like their way of covering everything up or talking about things without people understanding what they were doing. Sort of like what I did. This one guy came up in January, March 19. I was in Walmart 62. I was getting my hair done. They said she talks in riddles so people don't understand her. She refers to her husband as playing God. The lady went, I don't understand. He said, well, who's God? She's like, I don't understand. He said, God holds life and death in his hands. Her secret is her husband's trying to kill her. She said, is that what's going on? Get the idea? All right. So when you look at these different people, what they're saying, you got to figure out what they're actually doing with what they're saying. Okay. Just like I was working 2 home healthcare jobs. This one lady for senior care had a retired CIA agent, a cleaning lady. She used to be a sniper. She got too many health issues. She was captured and drugged up real bad. We can tell she's a little fried. But she still talks to them. She came up to me. She said, Karen, every time I talk to you, I think of Mafia Mama. You can tell you've been around the human traffickers. The way you stand, the way you talk, the way you act. And I said, well, they bully me. They yell at me about my hair, my clothes, how I stood, how I spoke. She's like, you better be careful. The special outfit comes out. I said, I heard about that. She said, that means you're sold. Okay? She said, and if they tell you you're gorgeous, that means they want to kill you. They're code words. She said, in that Texas group, all law enforcement are after them. They've killed agents. And we talk about stuff. And she would go outside and call someone and talk about the case. Okay? All right. Now, where they were saying stuff around me that if she don't lose weight, none of the guys are allowed to ask her out. She's so fat. They call me fat. Fuck you. I'm married. I wouldn't go out with him. Then it's like, what are they talking about? I think it's a code word that none of the guys can try to sell me. Because special outfit means soul, gorgeous means kill. They're code words. It means sell. Go out with you. Because they sell people for a living. I wouldn't want to go out with them. They wouldn't have a chance in hell you end up that way. Chained up in the basement somewhere. Okay. Now, just like um, we're drug traders and human traffickers from Florida, we work for Judge Peters, and we're relocating people to Florida, to a resort area. You look up Judge Peters' arrest in Florida. Was Disney. For we all work for the king from Texas. We are his men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. You look him up. He is U.S. military Iraqi translator. Went into the dark web malware fentanyl king. That's where the Muslim men, the women in hijabs, all talking about the king. So, where these people talk about kings, not all of them are like physical kings like King Charles. You know what I mean? They're drug lords, calling themselves kings. Okay. Now, one of their scenarios, remember Officer Mark? Remember? For there's a king from another country. How do they put it? Had a having them scavenge for new brides for his harem. You have to be perfect to meet the king. There were special order girls, and they would describe what they were looking for. Okay, I think it's the Russian. One of the things they talked about, for you have to make sure they have no contact with their family, that they are isolated and alone. For when we move them off, no one will know until it's too late. And then it's too late for them to ever find them. They're gone forever. Okay. In December of 23, January of 24, we had like below zero weather. My Jeep I had was acting out. I pull in to an auto place, have them check my batteries. There was a huge heavy set guy, long gray beard. He's like, you know those human traffickers that were here? I'm like, yes. He said, well, where they were grabbing all those people in Ohio, they were selling them out of the hotels up here in Summit County. I thought, well, I seen some of the riffraff that were part of my case up here yelling stuff at me. That's what I was thinking. Okay. I hadn't seen them for a while. Okay. They're in jail. He said there was a young girl that was a human trafficker. She had an 18-month-old baby. That mother's not getting out of jail. That's a 20-year sentence at least. You know that, right? He said, I thought of that little one growing up in foster care. He said, I went to her and I talked to her because I didn't want that little one growing up in foster care with a reputation his mother was a human trafficker. And I talked her into letting me adopt him. I said, well, that was really nice of you. My ex-husband got caught up in the drug cartel. And then we're going on back and forth. He said, did you ever see a tall white guy with whitish blonde hair, clean cut, our age, 50 to 60? He said, then expensive dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, expensive dress pants. I'm like, yeah, I seen them. You've seen them in your life? Yeah, are you okay? He's like, you've seen them in your life? And I'm like, yeah, are you okay? He's like, I've had strokes before. You've seen them in your life? I said, yeah, several times. I said, are you okay? He's like, you don't know who that was. I went, so? Are you okay? I'm going to have to call 911. He's having a heart attack in front of me. He's like, that was the Russian that was selling people out of the hotels as people got arrested. You've seen him in your life? And I'm like, yes. My God, he didn't have a name badge on. Seriously. Unless I see you in plain clothes, standing around officers in uniform talking to them. Did I know if you were a good guy or bad? No. And unless you yelled mean stuff at me, try to grab me, try to threaten me, try to harm me, did I know if you were good or bad? No. Then I know you're a bad person because you're a bad person. And the other ones, because you're around the cops, I knew their cops are fats. He wasn't wearing a name badge. But when he showed up, people scattered. Well, a bunch of men showed up and started walking around. He's like, I gotta get back inside. He said, you know that guy, that Russian, his people came in here. They were calling me names. He said, first they started talking, and he said, I understood him. He said, I'm actually Jewish. And when I said something to him, they realized it. And I said, well, I'm only a 6, you Jewish. And I said, I know they yell slang at you. I said, I'm a Christian. It's just ancestry, just like a 6 of it. He said, oh, they may not like you because you have part Hebrew blood in you. He said, but they hate full-blooded Jews. Hate full-blooded Jews. They just won't like you because you're a descendant and a little bit of it. I said, I know. They used to yell, that stupid little Hebrew girl, that stupid little Jewish girl, thinks she can tell on us what we're doing. Yes, we all have big mouths and we're defiant to the end. What I wanted to say. But that guy, when those big guys showed up, he's like, I gotta get back in that building. And I thought, see ya, out of here. All the good guys. Because they don't look like my regular guys. Got the hell out of there. Okay. Now I want you to think. Now, the Florida drug cartel were for Judge Peter. It was a big truck, guys. They were seen in Louisville. Okay. In the bars. Telling people they were for Judge Peters, they were drug traders. Okay. That's where the Lauren and Michelle, the real heavy set girls. Okay. Showed up in March to June of 19, screaming in Giant Eagle parking lot that they were stealing for them. They grew up for nothing, so they make sure I had nothing. I don't know them from Adam. I don't know these people, and they're going to steal from me? Why? Okay. Then they were saying Will was dating one of them, and they're huge. Then Will's going to steal everything for us that he's paying them to date them. It's like, who's Will and who cares? See what I mean? And then it's like, that's crazy. Those people are human traffickers. They're breaking there. And you're paying one of them to date you? Could end up dead. I see, I don't know any of these people. And they kept breaking and breaking. And different towns, different places. October 4th, 23, Maslin, the one, either Michelle or Lauren, the two blonde girls, one had lost a lot of weight. And they show up how Will promised to steal all the money for them. The June or July of 23, up in Akron. One of my clients, a couple houses down, they show up there saying how Will was stealing for them. And the neighbor came out. I told that Lauren I don't want her and her friends up here anymore. Okay. October 6, 23, first thing in the morning in Walmart 62. That girl that's bragging everywhere. That guy is stealing from her. Some guy from the case. He is stealing everything for her. She was bragging. He was paying her to date him. Now these are human traffickers. They see a beautiful woman. They want them. They just grab them. Keep them captive. Why would you pay a heavyset girl? And then she lost all that weight. February 7th, 26, AAA. We pull in so I could use the bathroom. I seen this lady before say stuff. They act like they're on the phone and yell something or say something when you walk by so you know. They said that girl they're actually stealing all the money for. They've already moved her off where no one can find her. She even had a nose job. The one they're stealing all the money for. It's like, why would you move her off? And you're paying for a nose job? Okay. Why? Why? And why are you paying so much? Okay. Well, yesterday, on February 9th, 26, I'm in Walmart. 62, two heavy-set girls with black hair walked by. Officer Mark John Cartel. They were in there, but leaving threats. Oh, Will was showing off for that girl how strong and powerful he is. How much she meant to him. That no matter what, he's so powerful, law enforcement wouldn't even. He showed that he could harm somebody in front of people, and the law enforcement won't even touch him. He had that girl's nose done to show off for. He killed her, didn't he? Probably broke her nose. See, they walk by. You're fat. You have skirt on, you better have hose on. You stand with your hands in front of you. Your hair should be blonde, no nail polish, little makeup. If you wear jeans, a belt with it. When you talk that your day went good, but it went well. They prime you and bully you into what they want. Then they have men walk around you, decided if they want to buy you, show up in stores. Okay? So that girl, they tricked into losing all that weight. See, that's where all these people, oh, he was going to do that. Do you know that guy, that Henry Moff guy that admitted on January 19, 26 in Bob Evans, that he had never met me in person? No, that he was the one online got a hold of me. Right after the FBI case, I got an instant message through Instagram. Said, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. And he said something about the love on the beach and the wind blowing through the window corner stuff. I don't know him from Adam. He's just being weird. He was in there saying he was the one on Instagram or online that got a hold of me. I was proving her ex-husband she's cheating. That's not me cheating. That's you weird. Dave had at least 3 girlfriends. He was trying to kill me for one. I found out. And I told all men that she's not good enough for anyone. Da 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 da. Now he's trying to pull a fast one on the FBI and steal all his money. He was the one behind Rick Carlson threatening him. He's going to steal everything for him. He's delusional, but it's him. You know, after he did that on Instagram, I didn't know him from Adam. Never met him. People talked about him around me. And then you're right with the cartel. from anywhere. And then people would show up and talk about a bill from the Freemason and a will, like they were in Henry Mafia. I say they were the same person they are. He's a con man. They're all the same person. They would say Karen's will. I don't have a will. You want to say who's my will? It's crazy FBI agent John. That's a big fat tattletale. It sure isn't some stalker that my ex-husband hired on his own, a con man I've never met. They would say, well, at the beginning of the case, they said Karen has a rich boyfriend. I didn't have a boyfriend. They would talk about Will considers Karen his girlfriend. First, I thought the guys were making up stuff because the cartel was hurting me to keep other people away so they didn't get hurt. This is crazy, man. What's really scary? They would say Will's the one that holds Karen at night. So if that girl meant so much to him, then he's the black and blue marks all over me. And waking up with swollen personality. He's coming over and drug beating, raping me. So why was she so important that he's coming over raping me? Under drugs. After the case started. I don't know, I'm breaking out private home. He told people that he was waiting for me to get over what those people did because he was in love with me. And it was him. And I never met him. I want you to think about that. They would say Karen's will as an older guy. It's so sweet. He drives around asking people to keep an eye on her, that he's in love with her. And I didn't know who he was. It was him. So for those people to say that girl meant anything to him, he's a serial killer. March 1st to 15th of 2019, it's probably 5 to 10 o'clock at night. I'm sitting on the back porch. Some guy calls Dave. What's going on? It's nothing but a real life case of how to get away with murder. She'll realize it. They're killing people in front of people and they're stupid. They're stupid. So where they tricked that girl into losing all that weight, they've moved her off where no one can find her. Or they move you off where no one can find you and then it's too late. You're gone. He sold her, didn't he? No job that he killed her. He busted her nose. Broke her nose. They've hit her. They probably sold her. And I think that Russian is the king from the other country because the fentanyl king is the drug dealer from Texas. They're calling themselves kings. They had people called colonels and captains within their groups. Get the idea. There's real people that did this. You just have to listen to how they describe themselves and what they're saying and how they're talking in code, then figure out what they're doing. They tricked that girl into losing weight. Someone needs to see if she's still alive. See, in January to March of 19, I started Faith Family Church. Okay. There was a blonde girl there, extremely thin, hair down to her shoulders. She told people she was George Peter's daughter. Then she laughed, said, I'm actually Will's daughter. I can have anybody drugged, beaten, raped. I just have to ask. Those guys will do anything I ask of them. Those boys will do anything I ask of them and harm anybody I ask. We are above the law. And the law can't even touch us. That's a crazy crap. Those two heavy-set girls with dark hair were saying that the law enforcement will not even stop Will in this area. No matter who he hurts, he can do it in front of people. and how powerful he is. See, that's one of the things Dave said right before I called the FBI case right around September 21st, 2018. Karen, come to the end of the driveway. My girlfriend's rich and powerful. Her family owns the place. It won't be able to withstand. I looked at him and I said, it's not a communist country. No one owns the place. I took days and I prayed and I poured my heart out to God. I was married 33 years. That bastard I was married to, I actually loved him with all my heart. People that work the case, we all know she loved him greatly. We were married 33 years. Dave was a weird man. He'd be good to you for a year or two, and the first time he had a bad day, he'd beat the hell out of you and then be sorry. He wasn't sorry. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Your heart and your mind makes you believe that you're in love with someone abusing you. That's how you survive it. The emotions are real, you really feel it. But it's not real love. That's how your mind protects yourself. I have learned so much from this case. But I honestly loved him. Loved him with all my heart. And I had to pray. And I had to work it out with God of how to handle it. And I got to the point of praying this like, God, I'm lucky to be alive. I have almost been kidnapped, carjacked, followed and rented, attempted to break him. Now that guy showed up and threatened to knife me, they're here. They're bragging it's them, and I'm so dumb. I didn't think it was David's church. And it was them the whole time. And if I don't pick up that phone, I'll die. But the day I pick up that phone, I could never forgive him. For the day I forgive him, I'll die. Thought of all the family get-togethers, dinners, Christmas, never be the same. How much I cared for him, and I could never let myself truly love him again. It was the hardest emotional decision, and I had to pray and pray for strength. And when I picked up that phone to call the hotline, it was tearing my heart out. I didn't think I'd make it out. Even if you came got me right away. I was that afraid, Agent John. I didn't even know if I would make it the next few days with that guy showing up and threatening to knife me at Triangle. I didn't even know if I'd survive that long. And it was a desperate and final plea for help. I had had all those attempts within months. And Katie's breaking in the mall with 3 people at her church been trying to kill me. That's the only reason why I know is because people I knew in the mall, she was breaking out. They were trying to have me killed. Dave hold me down, hired 2 men to kill me, one to slit my throat, one to shoot me if I run, and now I had to die for him and his girlfriend to get everything. And for 30 minutes, he held me down, pushing my head and face into the pillow. How I had to die for this girl. He tried to claim it was a vivid dream. It wasn't. September 21st, 18, I woke up at 3 in the morning to him grabbing me, rubbing his beard in my face, squeezing me, rubbing my head. I love you, but I love her more. I'm so sorry, Karen, you have to die for her. I hired a man to slit your throat, stab you in the heart, you bleed out. But it's the only way we can get everything. I kept saying it, kept pushing my face into the pillow, and in the cold, dark night, I was afraid if I moved, he'd kill me with his own bare hands. Then, where I called, he finally rolled over and he got up and left. He was very much awake. I just laid there and shivered. Called John then next morning, and I asked him what on earth is going on. He said, I don't know, Mom, but I would have punched him. I said, I was afraid he'd finish smothering me. And where I didn't hang up on Terry, and she still don't know, I know. Where she's watching some lady's kid for $10 an hour, thinking I'd get Dave's girlfriend. And instead, I got the churches taking up $25,000 to hire men to kill me. It's Keith Bishop, Stranger Ron. Where she was watching this lady's kid. She'd hear her knocking on the door. She had me on speaker on the phone. I gotta go. Guess who was on the phone? You're kidding. I almost tricked her into coming down to prayer, where those two guys would show up and take care of her. You know, they paid people to know where she's at. I could have used the money. It's not like anybody in the church would ever help her. Well, that's about as bad as Kaylee. She used another minister because Keith charged too much money. Well, you know who was in that meeting to hire those men to kill her? It's Keith Bishop, Strange, and Ron. They took up $25,000 to hire those men to kill her. And I guess, and I realizing, and then where Sarah, her old manager and co-worker, came up to me how Katie had been saying it was her church trying to have me killed, bragging that they had a plan to permanently do away with me and men to take care of me. And a whole bunch of other threats, and I told him to stay out of it. And after what Dave did, and then that guy showing up to knife me after I had those attempts, I had to pray and pray. If I didn't call for help, I'd die. And by then, it's the grace of God in my life. I was almost kidnapped in front of Terry. Attempted break in. He made a mistake with the Perry police. Told him they knew where the security system was. Cop yelled at him, "You're part of it." He's very much part of it. I was followed and surrounded by Pam's daughter's Facebook friend. And then I was almost carjacked, and he took off, and he braked a Dixie, and I was getting carjacked and left on purpose. And then 6 days after we moved up there, someone kicks in my door to the wall. Then by the second week, I'm waking up with orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises, throwing up, severely infected. The well water's orange. Took us a couple months to get the water treatment system in there. It only had iron in it. And I'm blaming it, making me sick, maybe giving me cancer, causing a personal infection. I'm dizzy, I'm throwing up, almost passing out. And here I'm being drugged and told to say stuff and being raped in my own home by strangers. They've set up buying cameras, stalking me, Photoshop washing, being assholes, drugging me up and telling me to say horrible stuff with hypnotic drugs, stabbing me in my sleep, beating me in my stomach. I got orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. Severely swollen personal infection till when I peed, I would scream. Go to the doctor. Do I have cancer? Is it the well water? I'd be fine some mornings. I'd wake up and go out and work outside. In the yard, come in, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink. And I drink a lot of Diet Coke. Go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands, go sit down, take a drink out of the Diet Coke in the room and go dizzy and black. Those people laughed. They had stabbed me with that hypnotic drug in the hallway. And I didn't even remember being stabbed. It works that fast. Then come out of it with more bruises than I remember bringing in my arm leg. And what on earth did I pass out? Never see anybody in the safety of your own home behind your closed doors. Predators breaking in, running a drug scam on you. Fake dirty doctors breaking HIPAA. I had some ass show up in a store. I found a court record where she was found insane. I was never found insane, and you do not have a court record. You need to shut your lying fucking mouth. Just like they told people I had charges. And then they had to tell me that made up that I had charges of rape and murder. And she's found crazy, you know. I thought the only one crazy is you. Now I don't have any charges of anything. They made me out to be a crazy rapist killer. My God, I'd be afraid of me. I have one traffic ticket from 1989. They're all a bunch of nutbags. They thought if they made me a dirty person, they could kill me in front of people and have an excuse, and they just lied about it. Ran a drug scam on me, a bunch of drug dealers. Like they said, December 1st, 25, Walmart 62, an investigator showed up. There was a real pretty Michelle that told an agent what they were doing. She went and told another investigator. He showed up. He said Michelle showed up in my office. Told me that these people confessed this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. And if you know HIPAA violations, they could never have a doctor. And the doctor from before was not one of hers. He works for them and they had lied. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy, Pete, that was running his mouth about her in my office, she don't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. Dave hired all these people to run a scam. Now you realize that. And they used hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And they photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room to make her look weird with herself. And the whole thing was nothing but a scam to extort money from the government. November 23rd, 25, Macy's Summit Mall. Downstairs, there's two girls off in the distance. How they showed up there to let everyone know that this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. And they were already connected to my ex-husband. They went to him and asked him if they could run a scam on me. They needed someone to run it on. He agreed to let him do it to me if they made sure he got everything during the divorce. And this whole thing was just a scam to extort money from the government. You knew that, Agent John, right? I'm going to upload this.